Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Thank you so much for clicking onto my video today. Today I'm going to be doing a testing makeup video. So I'm going to be testing the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. So I'm going to do a wear test on it. I decided to pick this up because it's quite a popular NARS product and I haven't used much from NARS and I really want to try experiment with the brand a little bit more. So I decided to go for this one and I'm just going to apply it today on camera and then leave it on through the day and see how we get on with it. And I'm really excited to try it. I haven't opened it yet just because I wanted to do it all on camera. So I decided to get the shade Light 2 Mont Blanc. I used the website foundation to kind of see what shade to get and it suggested this one. So I'm hoping that it matches. Like I say, I haven't tried it yet. So all I've done is take it out of the box to look at it. The shade looks all right in the tube. We'll see, hopefully it's fine. And I'm going to do half with a brush and half with a sponge. And then if I drastically prefer one, I will go over it with the brush or the sponge. I guess I'm just going to get onto applying this. So just move my hair out of the way. And I've got a little Clinique mirror, which is so cute. So I'm going to put some primer on first just because I want to give it a fair test. I always use primer. And I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter face primer. It's the Foundation Grip Primer. It's a little bit hydrating, a little bit gripping, so it's a little bit like best of both. I've also got my moisturiser on. I've got the Clinique Moisture Surge on underneath just to make sure my skin's hydrated because I do tend to have slightly dry skin. So the foundation comes in this glass bottle with a pump. It's really pretty. I'm just going to put some on the back of my hand to see what the shade's like. Oh, it's so thin. Look at that. I don't want to get it on my cardigan. That's so much thinner than I thought it was going to be. The shade should be relatively okay. So I'm going to do this side with a brush. I'm probably going to need more than that. Whoa, that side's magnifying. It's going on nicely. Doesn't look like it's giving me super full coverage, but it's definitely giving me a good coverage. Yeah, the colour's really nice actually. I think it's matching me quite well, especially by the time I have my other products on, like my concealer and my bronzer and stuff. I'm thinking that I've picked a good shade. Yay! I like how it's going on with this brush. It's just the It Cosmetics brush, which I use for all of my foundations, to be honest. I don't use a sponge very often for foundation, so I'm thinking I'm going to prefer the brush just because I usually do. It does seem to sink in a little bit, probably because it's so thin. Okay, so that'll do for now. You can see the difference though. It's definitely smoothed my skin out quite nicely. Pop another pump on the back of my hand. And then I'm using the Morphe sponge. I have damped the sponge down as well. I definitely think that sheared it out. I don't know if you can really tell. This side of my face is better, if that makes sense. I prefer this side of my face with nothing on. But I think the other side is actually looking nicer with the brush, but I'll just finish putting this on. I also kind of think I'm needing more product on this side. The sponge is maybe soaking some of it up, especially with it being so thin in texture. I really like the shade actually. Sometimes I, for some reason, think I'm paler than I am and I get foundation that's too light. And I can still make it work obviously, but I'm like, why did I get that? But yeah, this seems to be matching nicely. I really like how it's looking so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with the brush on the other side just because I think it looks nicer. It gives me slightly more coverage, which is what I want. I'm just stippling that in. So I just need a little bit more. See if I can just get it off my hand, on my nose. So I did use quite a lot of foundation. I probably wouldn't have used as much if I hadn't bothered with the sponge. So I'd definitely recommend a brush personally, but I do prefer a brush all the time. So if you are a sponge kind of person, definitely give it a go with a sponge just to make sure. But I think it looks really nice. It's giving me a nice radiant finish, as the name would suggest. But it also isn't like dewy. It's not overly greasy or too shiny looking, in my opinion. Yeah, I actually really like that so far. I really hope that this looks nice when I've done the rest of my makeup, and I hope it lasts. And I'm glad with the shade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off camera, apply the rest of my makeup, just because it's pointless me doing it on camera, because I haven't really got anything new to try or anything. So I'm going to pop the rest of my makeup on, and then I'll come back on camera, show you what it all looks like when it's completely done, and then I'll check in through the day. So yeah, that's it on first application. Hey guys, I'm back and I've got the rest of my makeup on now, and this is how everything is looking, like the foundation. I've set my face down, but just with the Too Faced loose powder that I always use. I haven't used a pressed powder or anything, so you can still see that nice reflection from the foundation, which I personally really like that. I don't tend to go for a full matte finish. So I've kept it how I normally would, and I'm really liking the way it looks. Like, it looked so healthy on my skin. It didn't look dry, it didn't sink in too much. It just looked like a nice fresh layer on my skin that looked like a nice radiant skin-like finish. Like, it wasn't too dewy, it was not matte at all. I really like it, and I think this is going to be one of my favourite foundations if it lasts well. I say that about everything, but like, this is so nice, and it's just the right level of coverage. Like, it's pretty much full coverage. Like, you can build it up to full coverage, but it's not super full to the point where it looks like really fake and too much coverage. So I really like it. I've just put a little bit of concealer on. I've tried not to overdo it. I've just put a little bit under my eyes, a touch here and here, and that's it. I haven't overdone it. So yeah, I'm really liking the way it looks. I don't know about you guys, but I love it. It doesn't feel too sticky, but it's definitely got like a bit of a stickiness to it. Like, I think it would probably transfer, but I don't care. I love it. So I will do some check-ins throughout the day, let you know how it's looking. But yeah, this is my first one, so I'll just turn the exposure down a little bit so you can properly see it. So yeah, that's how it's looking. I really like it. Yeah, so I'll check in a few hours. It's currently 12:30, so yeah, we've got plenty of time to play with. I'll see you soon. Hey guys, I just thought I would pop back on for a checkup. It's now 6 o'clock, so it's been 5.5 hours since I applied this foundation. So I just wanted to show you what it's looking like, how it's holding up. I'm quite happy with it, to be honest. So it's looking a little bit more shinier, which I personally like. But I think it still looks quite nice on my skin. Just turn the lights down. I quite like it. So I haven't touched it up at all. I have reapplied my gloss because I've eaten. But other than that, I've not touched my makeup at all. And I think it's looking really nice. I'm really liking it at the moment. It feels very lightweight on my skin. Like, I can't feel it at all. Probably because of that texture was so thin. So for me, so far, it's a win. I don't know how it would fare with a mask. I think it would probably come off. I mean, most of them do with a mask, but I don't think it would last great under a mask. But I don't know. I've not tried it. But I'm really happy with it. And I think it's looking pretty. It's perfect for every day, I think. Like, looks so nice. And it's also lasted. Like, sometimes these like glowier foundations don't last quite as well on the skin as a matte one. I know it's only been 5.5 hours, but that's like a full working day. Well, it's not, but it's like nearly a full working day. And it's looking great. So I'll do another check-in in a little bit, in a few more hours, and see how it is then. But so far, it's not even breaking up or anything. Like, it looks quite similar to how it looked when I first applied it. So really happy. So yeah, I just wanted to update you, and I'll check in again soon. Hey guys, so I'm here for my final check-in. I've had this on for 8.5 hours now because it's now 9 o'clock and I put it on at 12:30. Yeah, so 8.5 hours. And this is how it's looking. So it's a little bit shinier from the last clip, I would say, but it doesn't feel like too oily, just a little bit. And obviously it is looking a bit shiny, like you might want to add some powder at this point. But personally, I really like this look. I think it looks healthier and nice and fresh. So I'm really pleased with this foundation. I'm so glad I purchased it. I can see why so many people love it. The coverage just stayed. It hasn't creased badly. It hasn't kind of sunken into my fine lines too bad. I normally get lines like here and here, which I haven't really got. And my forehead lines, I think it's looking really good considering how long I've had it on. I will definitely be using this foundation more often. It's perfect. It feels so lightweight. Even now, like normally by the time I've had my foundation on for like 8 hours, I'm like, oh, please get this off my face. But I don't feel like that. Like it still doesn't feel too heavy on my skin, which is really good. So I honestly think this has the power to become one of my like favourite foundations, which is incredible. Even though it's a natural radiant foundation, I really did think it would be super dewy by this point, but I don't think it is. I think that's just like a normal amount for me. I love it when my natural oils come through though, because when I wake up in the morning, my skin feels quite dry, like normal to dry, but quite dry. So it's really nice when the natural oils come through my foundation instead of it going completely dry like some foundations seem to go. So I'm super pleased with this. I think the shade match is great and that works well for me. So if you are thinking of trying this foundation, I definitely recommend it, especially if you like this kind of radiant glow. It's pretty good coverage, I'd say full, but not overly full, like I mentioned, I think. And yeah, I just love it. So I'll definitely be using this one more often. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried this foundation, what you thought of it, any other recommendations that you think I'd like, any other NARS products that you think I would like. And thank you so much for watching my video. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another one. Thank you, bye.